Welcome. If you like this content, if you want to see more of it, I implore you to hit the like button down there, the subscribe button, get your notifications going if you're into that, and possibly hit up the Patreon and become a contributing member to make all of this possible. Welcome to Comfortable Lies. Just when you thought 2021 couldn't get any weirder than 2020 was, 2021 told 2020, hey, hold my fucking meth pipe. Let me snort a line of cocaine right straight out of your ass crack. Here we are. The Wall Street bets GameStop fiasco. So, I can't help but think that everyone has heard about what is going on with Wall Street in the past week, where GameStop has gone out of control as far as rising stock prices, and this is all due to a subreddit on Reddit, of course, called Wall Street Bets. Now, on this playing field, we have the two main players. We have Wall Street and the hedge funds that basically operate Wall Street like a casino. They bet on stocks rising and lowering in prices, and they win and lose based on those bets. And then you have the Redditors, non-professional investors that have decided to beat Wall Street at its own game. This really started about a year ago, where a Redditor was actually buying GameStop stocks at very low prices because Wall Street has been driving the price of GameStop stock down artificially for years. And not that it's not fair. GameStop is literally, the monster company for gamers. We people who buy video games and play them, and then when we don't want to play them anymore, want to trade them in, have been abused by GameStop regularly. I mean, so I don't necessarily feel bad for the position GameStop was put in. That being said, at this point, GameStop is now, as of the last time I checked, closing in or surpassing $300 per share. It's a massive increase from the $2 per share it was around this time last year. And currently, Wall Street is weaponizing the federal government to try and stop their multi-billion dollars, billion with a B, losses. The last I had heard, it was in excess of $90 billion lost by hedge funds that were specifically sabotaging GameStop stocks. And the Redditors, the amateur investors, are holding, waiting for the short sale contracts to come to fruition. What this really means: hedge funds were selling borrowed stocks on the bet that they were going to go down in value. This is something they've been doing to GameStop for years. And what happens is they borrow the stock, and they pay a rental fee basically to borrow that stock, and then they sell it at the price, and then when it comes around that they have to give that stock back to the person they borrowed it from, they buy it back at the lower price, and then they keep the profit. What the Redditors had effectively done was make that not work. They, en masse, purchased a massive amount of GameStop stock to inflate the price of the stock. The stock is not really worth the value that it's at now, and it won't be worth the value it's going to get to before this actually comes to a short squeeze head. So basically, the Redditors had outsmarted the Wall Street hedge funds and had created a situation where they are going to lose billions and billions of dollars. I'm not exactly unhappy about that outcome. To be completely fair, they kind of have it coming. The financial industry has received trillions in bailouts, multiple trillions of bailouts in the past 15 to 20 years. There's no reason to really feel bad about these people who are more concerned about how they're going to afford their next yacht. I'm not feeling really bad for them at all. That being said, it does shine a very interesting light on what's actually happening in Wall Street, because right now the shorts, the short sales for GameStop stocks is 140% of the volume. How is that possible? Technically, it's not. Technically, they are using a technicality and selling something called naked shorts, meaning they are selling stocks that don't exist at all. I mean, let's be completely honest here. That's exactly what's happening. And that's exactly why their losses are going to be so egregious. At this point, more well-off hedge funds are attempting to bail out the specifically affected hedge funds, and that's an unsustainable position. But it's what they're trying to do to save face, or to save the system that which they have rigged in their own favor. And that's pretty much the sum of my analysis. And now a word from our sponsor. Exactly what is Thales coaching?
But now, I mean, it's great. So it's a coaching, and I focus on four things. I do mindset. I'm a board certified hypnotist with the International Medical and Dental Hypnotherapy Association. So I do a lot of mindset training, meditation, different kinds of for lack of a better term, magic. I don't want to offend any people that are Christian or get freaked out by that, but basically,
I don't think there's much of those here.
Sorry?
I don't think there's a lot of those people here.
I don't want to offend anybody, but anyway, it's just mental, psychological tricks to get you to get what you want, really. And then
welcome back. So part 2 of this, and it's very important that this part gets addressed. The government's involvement. Now, the government is its own player, specifically the federal government, and we are seeing the gamut of questions being asked about whether or not something ought to be done, what should be done, how it should be done, and really we need to ask certain questions. Who are they protecting? In the sense of the current issue with GameStop, there's nothing to protect in reference to the Redditors, the amateur investors. They are making bank. Most of them have pledged, quote unquote, that they are not selling the stocks. They are going to hold them until the short sale contracts are up, and the hedge funds are going to end up going bankrupt from it. And I don't necessarily disagree with them, but that's what they said. So they're not in a position where they need to be protected via the federal government. So who are they protecting? Well, if we examine what's being said, we have a Democratic Senator, I think she is, Elizabeth Warren, talking about how the Biden administration needs to do something about this, and specifically about how Wall Street got outsmarted. She was talking about rolling back the trades and things like that, things that are generally considered illegal. You know, when you put your money on that table, you can't just take your money back and go home. Specifically, this is what a lot of hedge funds were doing. They were forcing trading apps to restrict trade with GameStop, AMC, and other stocks that were being boosted by this Redditor thread. The thing's called meme stocks at this point because everything came from the internet and therefore it must be a meme, for whatever that is. It's pretty obvious the federal government is going to bat for the hedge fund managers. They are not concerned about the people in the least, Democrats specifically at this point, because they are in control of Congress and the Senate, and they are speaking out about how the government needs to do something. And that something is protect the people who donate the most money to me, and it's not the regular people. On a side note, despite her hysterics about a claim that people were trying to murder her, AOC stumbled across defending the free market by saying that the stopping of the ability to trade is actually a bad thing, and it is. Keeping people from being able to do what they want with their money is a bad thing. Now, if she could just take that leap to realize that everything that she does in government does that, it would be great. But I'm not holding my breath. Accidentally, Progressive defended free market trade. Very accidentally. And I know that there's people out there who may actually watch this. I doubt that though. Who will go, well, capitalism isn't just a free market. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, you're right. It isn't. It's the individual ownership of the means of production, and the means of production in our quote unquote sort of capitalist society is finances. Finances are how we get any means of production available to us. So putting the finances in the average person's hands is not anti-capitalist. It's actually very pro-capitalist. And the movement of capital is actually a very important factor in capitalism, not the hoarding of capital. You have your systems confused. So who is really going to bat for the Redditors on purpose? Nobody. Nobody's coming to help them. No one is standing in their corner. No one is going to save them. And I think that's an important thing that we need to really think about. The Redditors are going to be okay. the most that they'll lose is their initial investment. They're not shorting their stocks. They're not borrowing stocks and hoping the price goes down. The only thing that they can lose at this point is their initial investment, or some fraction thereof. But they are locked into a position where contractually these hedge funds are going to eventually have to buy their stocks. And when that happens, the day that that happens, unless, of course, the government gets in the way, which is what the established government is trying to do, all of these people are going to be actual millionaires instead of theoretical millionaires via stock. And now, a word from our sponsor. And we're back. I would like to note, by the way, see, I'm wearing merch just in case we were wondering. Yes, we do have a store open. It's available, and the link will be in the description, wherever the description is, wherever you are watching this wonderful video. So, what is next? Well, we're already starting to see what's next. We already have the media getting involved in the discussion about who's good and who's bad, and they're painting really interesting pictures about the Redditors. The discussion about how Reddit is white supremacist has already happened. Just recently, I had gotten this gem right here about how it's Trumpist, like that's even really a thing. But CNN has come up with that, and we're seeing the old game happen again, where the media is directing the conversation regardless of what the actual facts are. They're telling you what to think. So we have the media's reaction. We have Wall Street's reaction. That was almost immediate from when this started to break. Robinhood, who, despite being the for the people investment app, turns out it is for the hedge funds investment app, because the moment GameStop and AMC started to take off, well, you can't trade them now. They blocked them out, and technically it's a private app. It's their right. They are allowed to do that, but it really comes off as kind of shady in light of what is going on. And we have to really understand that when it comes to things like this, I draw a line. On one side of the line, that's just not cool. On the other side of the line, everything's fucking gravy. Now, what Robinhood did is over here on this side of the line. That doesn't mean it's illegal, because legality has nothing to do with right or wrong. But it's over here. It's just not cool. Is it legal? Yes. Yes, Robinhood is allowed to tell you you can't trade or you can trade certain stocks. Perfect example, this is Coinbase, a cryptocurrency trader. Once Dogecoin started getting volatile because there was talk about people buying Dogecoin, they stopped allowing trades with Dogecoin. I mean, they're legally allowed to. They're allowed to support and not support any business they so choose. But in light of current events, it looks real fucking shady when hedge funds are being targeted for legal, but really on that gray area part of it, activity like naked shorts. And then all of a sudden, trading apps are all shutting down any trades, not allowing anybody to trade, and I don't know for a fact, but there is discussion federally about reversing trades, which I don't necessarily think is 100% legal, but there's that. What's Wall Street's reaction? Well, they're doubling down. They're attempting to push down GameStop stock by short selling more. At this point, regardless of what's being called in, they are absolutely still borrowing at cost and selling right away and attempting to regain that financial footing by putting more stock up for sale. So we end up with, that 140% of the stock still floating out there, not accounted for, and there's really nothing we can do about that until everything gets called in. And once it does get called in, these companies are going to go bankrupt unless, of course, the federal government gets involved, adds liquidity to these companies to quote unquote save them because they're too big to fail, and basically fucks the rest of us financially forever, like they have been doing. So I guess status quo. There you go. Everything that you complained about over the Trump 4 years is just going to continue. Not like I didn't tell you so. Now, there's been a lot of chatter, specifically on Twitter, about buying SLV. SLV is stocks in silver, and I think it's very important that we really take a look at what the people who actually got the ball rolling with GameStop stocks had to say, which is right here. As you can see, he's telling you specifically, don't buy SLV. Now, I'm going to tell you from a point of view of just some guy. I am just some guy. I'm not an investor. I'm not an investment banker. I'm not giving you any type of financial advice. I personally do not buy stocks in commodities. If I'm going to be buying a commodity, I want the physical product in my hand. So, with that said, if you have a hankering to think that SLV is going to skyrocket, buy physical silver. Don't buy the stock. Stay away from the stock. Treat it like the pariah that it actually is. It's a representation of an amount of silver that doesn't necessarily exist. Get the physical silver in your hand. Have it in your hand. Have it in a safe. Keep it in a safe place. If the price of silver skyrockets and you want to cash out, you can. The reason why you want to stay away from SLV stocks is because, well, the same thing that happens with the federal government and GameStop stocks, because if they decide to roll back or to just not force anybody to honor those stocks, that's something that can happen with SLV. So you want to have physical precious metals in your hands, not some sort of representation of that physical product. Again, I am not giving you financial advice. I don't do that. I'm just some dumb guy. Basically not well off enough to invest to begin with. So we just do what we can to survive around here. But it's important to take note, the people who are involved with the GameStop scenario, if they're telling you it's not them, you should probably believe it's not them. They have given no indication that they are looking to make money where other people aren't. They've given no indication that they don't think everyone can take a piece of this pie, or should take a piece of this pie. You know, they are very very welcoming of people partaking in destroying the hedge funds. So I can't imagine if they are responsible for the creeping up of the silver stock, that they wouldn't take credit for it immediately. So that just leaves what they say in their release. It's the hedge funds, and they're doing it to go long. And if you get involved, you're going to lose money. So, you know, if you're taking stock advice from Wall Street Bets, then your best bet is to stay away from SLV stock. If you want to hedge your bets on that one, then buy physical silver. You can still buy troy pounds of silver on the market. There's plenty of retailers that will sell at cost plus a small percentage. So you're winning in that respect, because you have that physical silver. It's a store of value. All the things that were talked about back in 2008 during Ron Paul's bid for presidency, when silver spiked up to about $60 an ounce. All that good stuff. You know, buy the physical silver. You have it. No one can take that value away from you. Whether or not it's realistically keyed to the value of the dollar is irrelevant at this point. It's painfully obvious that the printing press has gone insane. So there's that. There's my whole to-do about Wall Street Bets and GameStop stocks. I mean, normally I would put a comfortable lie here, but there really is no lie. The level of corruption that's just being put on display, and you're just expected to accept it, is astounding. The people who had been complaining about corruption over the last 4 years are suspiciously silent now that the Democrats are pretty much in control of the entire government, and the Democrats are more than happy to sit there and just show you how corrupt they are. So there is really no comfortable lie. It's all unabashed truth. Your entire government is corrupt and treats you like cattle. You know, you live on a farm. George Carlin said it best. You live on the farm. You're not the rancher, though. You are the cattle. So I don't know what this is going to mean in the long run. I am completely unequipped to give any type of synopsis about what will happen in the near or far future as far as this is concerned, because the government is far more erratic than the market is at this point. The government has drawn lines between their donors and their constituents, and some are on one side and some are on the other. And it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, you get the government that you pay for, and the constituency is going to be outbid every single time. So, do what you will with that information. This has been Harry Felker, Comfortable Lives. Have a great day.